I am Nicholas Bornois of Capital Link, and I would like to welcome you all to Capital Link's Expert Talks webinar series. In this series, we have the opportunity to discuss with industry leaders on current news, trends, and developments. And today, we have the privilege to have with us Mr. Carlos Peña, the newly appointed CEO of company TRANSPORT MARITIME CTM. So, Carlos, we know each other for quite a long time. It's been a privilege to know you. I'd like to thank you that you have been a great supporter of Capital Link. You've joined several of our events around the world for years. And now it's a great pleasure to welcome you as the newly appointed CEO of CTM. So I'd like to start by congratulating you for this well-deserved promotion. And then first question would be, share with us a little bit your career journey in the industry and more specifically with CTM.
Yeah, thank you, Nicholas. You know, life is strange. I'm from Chile. I was studying in those days. I'm a civil engineer, so nothing related to shipping. And by coincidence of a friend that invited me to play football, he told me, "Come and play football." I ended playing football and with a person working in a container company called CSAV, which was a very larger container company in those days. Today they own 30% of Hapag-Lloyd, give and take. And they invited me to work in the shipping company because there was a very competitive league for football. So nothing to do with the real looking for a job in shipping. After a few years working there on car carrier division, Mr. Livanos invited the owner of CSAV in those days, Ricardo Claro, to do a joint venture in a new sector that CTM will have entered, was the Handymax sector. And we did a joint venture together with Bosimar, Nomicos, Peter Livanos with Drylock, and CSAV. And the Chileans sent me to Monaco for 12 months experience to take lessons, let's say, to learn about dry bulk market. Since then, 20 years have passed. I have done all the experience that I needed, and John Michael and his family trust me with taking the lead on CTM, which is quite a challenge, but I'm very proud and I'm very happy to develop it.
So you've been with CTM for how long now?
21 years. 21 years. So since basically, you know, this company was Coeclerici, was based in Genoa, and Peter Livanos moved it to Monte Carlo in 2004. So since 2004, I'm here.
So you know the company inside out. But let me take this opportunity to talk a bit about CTM. Can you describe to us the range of the company's activities? I mean, if you go to the website, it says that CTM is a world leader in dry bulk shipping, and you're offering commercial, technical, operational, and logistical management services. So take us a little bit through those activities. Are you also a ship owner?
Yes, to all above. I mean, yes, we are a commercial manager. We are a manager. We do from A to Z on shipping. Let's say we do technical management, accounting management, portfolio management, commercial management, legal claims. We do all of above. But we are owned by a ship owner, which is John Michael Ratzul and his family, and so we are also owners. Let's say the ownership is one of our clients in our platform. Let's say we are managing ships or money or from close to 40 people from basically everywhere in the world, from Japanese people, Middle East people, European, American. So it's quite diversified. We have also different hats, let's say. Sometimes we are charters. We have a company called Stone Shipping, which is expanding on the Supramax and Panamax sector. For example, today that company have in the water 35, 36 ships on the Supras, and we just raised $50 million to charter another number of ships over the course of the next 12 months. We have a company called CTM Ltd that is owned by John Michael, who has long-term leasing companies from Japan. We have 22 of those ships in the water. We own some ships together with other partners as well. And we manage pools, which is, I think, probably what the world knows more about us. We have a pool in the Cape sector and a pool on the Supramax sector. And we just started this week with the pool on the Panamax.
So overall, how many ships are in the fleet, owned or, you know?
All, if you put all together, today we have around 120 ships under management.
And how many of those are in pools?
Whatever is a spot, what a spot I mean up to 6 months, is in the pools. So we try not to compete with ourselves and have different agendas. So our own ships, our long-term ships, or whatever is a spot is in pools. So we're on the same boat that the other pool members. There are ships that we have them fixed out for longer, like 2-3 years, and those are outside the pools.
So you are running a proprietary book with FFAs or chartered in vessels and so on?
Absolutely, absolutely. We use FFAs, we do cargo books, we take COAs. Lately, not too many of those one on terms of COA because our experience hasn't been so great. But yes, we can do, and we have done it over the years.
So you're very well known, as you mentioned, about your commercial pools in the dry bulk space, and you're running pools for Capesize, Panamax, and Supramax vessels. So take us a little bit through the concept of the pools and the pools operation and your positioning as CTM in this market.
Well, let's say that the pools, we see it as a vehicles to share fin owners. Actually, the pools are revenue sharing agreement. So our idea is to share the revenues, but also share opinions. We use this platform also they have a social component where people meet each other, talk about the market, talk about their ideas, discuss about different matters. I don't know, years back were the scrubbers, then was the fuel ETS, and different angles that in shipping you are influenced or affected every here and there. The pools are pretty simple because they work basis owners charter party. So our idea is the pool adapt to the owner, and we evaluate the ships basis their simple description, speed and consumption, and the tradability that the vessel will allow. So the owners perform at CP. That will give you a rating, and that rating is more or less similar to an index-linked charter, let's say. And then we put all the ships together and we trade them tramp around the world. The idea is to have, hopefully, the fleet split it between the oceans. And ideally is to have one ship open every time, everywhere. So you get all the market, hopefully more good market than bad market, but you get also sometimes the bad one. And therefore you eliminate the randomness, the luck effect. Because sometimes when you don't have many ships and you are opening a particular port, you could be lucky or you could be unlucky, because it could be that when you are open, there is nothing. So that we tend to normalize. And for that reason, the pools, we see it as a very good vehicle to track the market. The pools tend to do 3 to 5% better than the market. Okay, so we outperform a little bit. We working together with owners try to also push a little bit up the market because all our interests are aligned, and increase the money in the pocket of each single owner. That's the goal. Plus, for the charters, I think it's also quite convenient because you standardize process. They know to who do we speak with. They know how we work. So, and it makes much easier for a larger company to talk with also a larger company on the other side as an ownership. And we know their requirement, we know how the bigger companies work, so it's easier in that sense. We get some economy of scale sometimes, a little bit discount on the bankers, a little bit discount on the ports because we go regularly. And that, you put it on the machine and get a little bit better performance for owners as well.
So it optimizes fleet performance, it optimizes revenue performance, I presume you also have pools for procurement, for bunkers, for supplies, and so on, which further contribute to cost savings and economies.
Absolutely, that's the idea. Try to improve your costs and maximize your earnings. That's the idea.
So you are one of the major operators in that market, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. I think on the Capes and the Supra, we are the largest pool in the world, let's say. And on the Panamax, we just started today, as I said, this week, with the same goal: try to achieve slowly critical mass. We have 12 ships in the water ourselves that we are putting on the pool. We have another client that will add another 10 during the course of this year. So by the end of the year, we should have 20-25 ships. And we will be looking for some pool members, new clients, new partners to try to share the revenues with us on the coming months.
I understand that the owners who put their vessels in the pools, they have the opportunity to also delegate technical management or keep technical management and leave the commercial management with you.
That is absolutely flexible. We are very flexible. If they want to keep it in-house, we don't have any problems. If they have them outsourced to a third-party management, we don't have any problem. And if they want to give it to us, we believe that technically we are also quite competitive. Here, as I told you, we do technical management for third-party as well. So we have 3 or 4 pool members who has also given us their ships, and we have other people which is nothing to do with the pools that we are also managing the ship for them. So
thank you for all this information. Now let's come to the last part of our discussion. Let's talk about the market a little bit. Obviously, working on the commercial side, you do have very good insight on what's happening in the market. Can you tell us what you see in terms of supply and demand trends? And above all, given what is happening in the world today with so much uncertainty in the near term, can you really look at the longer term fundamentals of this sector? I mean, what's your take on the market?
I think you nailed it with the word uncertainty. No, it's at the moment it's very, very difficult to predict and to make up an assessment. I mean, I think the supply side is something relatively easy to read. I mean, larger ships, Capesize, have a great picture, and the supply picture there is very good. There is, I don't know, kind of a 1% growth this year, and is positive for the coming years. On the smaller sector, Panamax and Supra, the supply is not so good, but it's not so bad neither. I mean, we are talking around 10% give and take, and that will probably make less attractive as an investor to go on those sectors than on the larger ships. Then you have all the uncertainties in the economy, the American new administration, which tells you, okay, shall we try to invest more on Chinese ships or not, for example, which is a topic in these days. No, from our point of view, we prefer to wait a little bit. In that sense, we are largely exposed to Japanese ships, so we don't have so much risk there. But we see it in the market. Most of the shipping companies are under problems if something really happened. I don't think will be something as bad as you can read around the shipping community in these days, but probably something will happen. So at the moment, I will say better to keep everything close to you and not to take big bets, because you could be not really getting it right. So as a CTM, the strategy for us is to run as well as we can our current fleet, trying to expand probably the pools, not to take too many directional bets, being in buying or taking long a fixed rate commitment. Taking some index link and floating risk is something that we are always happy to take, but just not to risk too much. I don't think it's the day to do.
Also, Carlos, I think that if I'm not mistaken, that particularly in periods of volatility and uncertainty, since the pools tend to focus primarily on the spot market on the shorter end, it really helps you to optimize performance in the current environment.
Absolutely, absolutely. Having, as I was saying earlier, one ship open every time, everywhere, you are in front of what is happening. I mean, there are, especially in America, in the state, in these days, you can see there is so much disinformation, so much uncertainty that for us being there in the floor, call it every second, it gives you an opportunity and you can do a little bit more here and there. Remember, we are also going through a couple of wars. I mean, Russia, Ukraine is a mess today. Nobody really knows if it's going to end or not. Israel, Gaza is another problem. Over this weekend, it was American sending some attack to the Houthis. So it's too much uncertainty, and the price of the ship, by the way, if you want to buy ships, is not cheap, historically speaking, neither. And you want to buy a Cape today, $75-80 million, which historically is not a cheap price. So the entry point is quite high on all the sectors, and the earnings are not nearby there to justify those prices.
Very interesting. I think the fact that the earnings short term are not there, but the asset prices remain higher, says something.
Yeah, definitely. There is an expectation there, no? And if you are looking for slots on the yards, 2028 or thereabouts, so you cannot buy a ship delivery nearby in the next 12 months, let's say.
Well, I'd like to thank you for joining us today in this very interesting discussion. I'd like to congratulate you again for the very well-deserved CEO position. Give our best regards to John Michael, and we'll look forward to you both very soon. And thank you again for being with us today.
No, thank you, Nicholas. It's a pleasure.
So we had with us Carlos Peña, the CEO of CTM, and this webinar will be available also for replay upon demand on our YouTube channel very shortly. Thank you, Carlos.
Thank you.